CFDs, or contract for differences. Three words you have undoubtedly heard before, but what does it mean and how are CFDs different to investing in stocks? What are the pros? What are the cons? And is it true that 70% of investors lose money trading CFDs? In this video, we're going to explore the answers to these questions so you are better equipped to make the best decision for you. Okay guys, so we're going to be talking about CFDs and stocks. Now, if you've been following me for a long time, you will know that I've always pointed out that if you're looking at trading CFDs, it is very, very different to investing in stocks, because on the CFD side, you need a little bit more skill set, technical knowledge, you need a little bit more time and attention than just investing in the stock market for the long term, as I do. So this video is going to be about exploring what CFDs are, talking about some of the pros and cons so that you can be better equipped to understand how this might actually play into your overall investing journey. And I do have to say thank you to XTB, who are the partners for this video. They have really made this possible. They provided a little bit more of a context for me on the CFD trading side. I know a bit about it, but I don't trade myself. So they provided a lot of information and given me an insight to how they work. I will show you a little bit of their website as well, just to show you mainly the educational bits that they provide and support that they provide. But we're going to cover quite a lot in this video. As a bonus to you guys, and it's free, in the comment section, there will be a link where you can actually download an 8-page, 9-page guide that we put together as well, which will put a little bit more meat on the bones on more of the stuff that we're going to talk about in terms of the pros and cons in this video. So if you want to do further research or you just want to get a little bit more context with examples, go and download that free guide. It looks like this. So with that being said, let's start off with the relatively easy question. Well, the simple question, the obvious question of what are CFDs? So CFDs stands for contract for difference. And what that essentially means, it says it on the tin really. It's a contract that you take out for the difference of a position on a day. So for example, on Monday, I might have some news or feel bullish about Tesla and take out a contract where I think that the Tesla share price will go up 10%. Now, if I'm right, I will make money. However, if the Tesla share price goes a minus 10%, then it means that I've lost money and I also have to pay back some money because I've taken out a contract for the difference being 10% in the positive. We'll talk a little bit more about that a bit later on, but that's essentially what contracts for difference essentially is. You're taking out a contract, which basically is a bet on the outcome or the result of a day's trading against a number of different asset classes or assets, commodities as a whole. That could be crypto, it could be Forex, it could be stocks, it could be gold, it could be anything really. You have a wider access to a number of other asset classes in this game of CFDs or trading. So that's essentially what it means. Now, we will cover the advantages and the disadvantages, but what I thought I'd do is let's start with the advantages, because with the advantages, we're going to kind of elaborate on them a little bit more. And like I said, the guide will give you a few examples so you can contextualize it a little bit more. And again, that's going to be available for you for free in the comment section below. Now, the first advantage really of using a CFD, and this is one that many people will be knowledgeable about and will be aware of, is leverage. So leverage is essentially where you could potentially have £100 as your seed money. And I'm just going to throw out numbers here, okay? Don't quote the numbers as what you could actually go and use to leverage. Leveraging and what you're allowed to leverage will vary from broker to broker. So let's just say you had £100, right? So that's your seed money. With leverage, you could potentially borrow twice or 3 times what your initial amount is. So 2 times or 3 times your £100. So in opposed to investing or starting to trade, I should say, with £100, you could trade with £200 to £300. Now, what that allows you to do is it allows you to essentially play around with other people's money. And this is something that many people will argue the banks have done for years and the investment houses have done for years. They've traded with other people's money. So this is kind of the retail world being able to do that. There are pros and cons to this. So the advantage is obviously you're playing around with additional money that didn't belong to you in the first place. And if you have a positive trade, a successful trade, so for example, in the Tesla example instance that I gave earlier, if it does go up by 10%, in opposed to me trading £100 and getting a 10% return on £100, I'm now going to get a 10% return on £300 if I've done 3 times leverage. So I'm making more money on the positive side. However, on the negative side, if the trade goes against me, and for example, the Tesla share price falls 10%, then my losses are going to be on £300 instead of £100. And that could be quite significant. It can compound your losses. So leverage is a powerful tool, but it has to be used in the right way. And this is just my personal opinion. You should not be looking at using leverage if you don't understand how CFDs and trading as an art form, I would say, works. If you don't understand it, don't start off by leveraging. But leveraging is one of the big advantages that you do have when you're looking at trading CFDs. The second advantage that you have is that with CFDs, you have the ability to trade both sides. What do I mean by that? So I've given an example of Tesla. If I say, for example, I feel as though the Tesla stock is going to go up by 10%, if I'm investing in that stock, I don't get to benefit if the stock market falls. So with CFDs and trading, you could take the opposite side of that trade. So for example, you could bet to say, I feel as though the Tesla share price is going to go up 10% today, but you could also do the opposite and bet that the share price will fall 10%. And again, if you're right, you will make money. If you're wrong, you will lose money. So you're able to take both sides of a trade, which for many people is a great tool to have, because oftentimes we will hear things in the news, right? Or you might be following a particular stock and following a little bit of news, and you may have wind that actually the quarterly report isn't going to be good. So you may be speculating, you think actually the share price will go down because people may want to take profits. The market might react negatively to it. You could take the opposite end of that trade. So you could essentially short the stock. So the terms that they use here is long is when you think that it's going to increase in value. Short is when you think you're going to decrease. So you can either long or short a stock, a crypto, a currency pair, for example. You can take both sides of the trade. Really, really big advantage. The next one is that you're able to actually hedge your positions, and you have some tax efficiency bonuses as well when you're looking at CFDs, particularly with stamp duty. So what I mean by hedge is that, for example, if I said that I think that Tesla will go up 10% on Monday, all right? I could essentially take the opposite side of that trade to kind of hedge my position. So if I'm relatively confident and think, okay, look, I think that the share price will go up by 10%, I could place that bet, take out that contract for that 10%. However, if there's contrary news that comes out later on during the day, or actually during that trading day, I realize that actually it's going the opposite way, I could potentially take another contract out, which will hedge my position. So for example, if the share price is already 5% down, I could then short it and say, actually, I think it might go down 15% to cover myself on both ends. So you're able to essentially hedge. You can't do that if you're buying individual stocks, because with individual stocks, clearly what you're doing is you're holding the company in shares. You're buying shares of that company as a shareholder, and you're waiting for the value of that share to increase over time. With CFDs, it allows you to make momentary short-term trades and hopefully be in the positive if you make the right call. But hedging is a great advantage that you have with CFDs. The last one that I have on here is you have the ability to have access to multiple asset classes. So with CFDs, you could basically trade Forex, you could trade commodities, you could trade stocks, you could trade crypto these days. There's a lot that you can actually trade. With obviously stocks, it's just stocks. You can't really, I mean, you can buy crypto, you can't buy currencies. Yes, you can buy stocks, but you certainly have more available to you on the CFD side. So those are some of the advantages. This will bring us very nicely onto the disadvantages, which you could probably guess are the opposite and will be clear for me to point out, but I'm going to point them out anyway. First advantage is higher risk. If you're using leverage, you could lose more money, particularly because it's great if you're making money, but if you're in the negative, those losses can be compounded. Markets are volatile. This is the second disadvantage. Markets are volatile. So you are subject and susceptible to market price action movements. If the market moves sharply and you haven't set your trade properly with stop losses and so on and so forth, then you could potentially get taken out of your trade. And that could be very, very sudden and really, really drastic. And one of the things that I often talk about, if you're going to be looking at trading, from people that I know who do trade and having been around a few traders, but not really dabbled too much myself, is, you really do have to be able to control your own mindset. Mindset plays a big part in whether you're going to be successful at this or not. And you've got to also join that mentality and that mindset of a trader with the technical know-how as well. And that brings us on to the third disadvantage. The learning curve for trading is a lot steeper than just investing in stocks specifically. But the great news is that the providers like XTB, they have an academy, which I'll show you very, very shortly, that is designed to basically help give you the education that you essentially need. And I'll talk a little bit about my experience with them, because they had a webinar what's today? Today's Friday, on Wednesday, which was great. And it was a free webinar by an expert. And they do a lot of that essentially. And the last one is the one that you're going to see on a lot of their websites. Over 70% of people who trade CFDs, retail investors that is, actually lose money. And one thing you do have to realize is that, if you are going to be in this pool where you're trading, you are going to be going up against some of the big banks and professional traders, which is why the education piece is so important. And that brings us on to actually taking a look at the XTB platform. So I can just show you around very, very quickly and just show you the demo account that I've got. And then again, there's going to be a link for you to go sign up with them if you want to. I've also done some due diligence as well. So let's just jump onto my computer and I can just show you the platform and how they work and what they have to offer. Okay, so this is XTB's website essentially. And the first thing that I'm going to point out to you guys is obviously the statement right at the top, where it basically just gives a regulatory warning. This is something that they're required to do by the FCA. Now, CFDs are complex instruments and come with a high risk of losing money rapidly due to leverage. And we talked a little bit about that on leverage. Now, it says here 74% of retail investors' accounts lose money when trading CFDs with this provider. So it's just reiterating that it is high risk. Now, talking of regulation, XTB are actually regulated by the FCA. This is a screenshot. You can go and verify this on the FCA website as well. Funny enough, these guys actually work and are based in the same building that I used to work at when I was in Canary Wharf, 1 Canada Square. I was on level 50. They are on level 34. Pretty small world, to be honest. One of the things that I have to point out and I have to stress, because I have talked about education and the fact that this is a massive learning curve. And if you don't know what you're doing, you really need to invest time to learn the skill that you need to be successful at this. And, this is the thing about CFDs and trading. It may seem like a tall order to start off with, but this is a skill that could potentially serve you very, very well for the rest of your life, depending on what your life goals are. If you're the kind of person that you do want to be a digital nomad and you do want to have the freedom of, traveling and so on and so forth, this is a really important skill set. Yes, it will take time for you to learn. Yes, it will take time for you to master. But essentially, the fruits that this could bear for you are actually quite significant, and it could give you longevity as well. So I want to show you their Learn to Trade, which is their trading academy, which is this tab right here on the website. They do have basic, intermediate, expert, and they've also got premium as well. So if you go into the basic, they've got lessons in here. There's quite a few. There's altogether here 30 lessons on the basic level. Now, it's going to take you time to get through this, but at the same time, it is necessary that you actually go through this trading. So let's just have a look at this. What is Forex trading? You've got a video there that talks you through the entire thing. You've also got some text as well. So what I'm saying here, guys, is utilize this because this is really, really important. If you're already a pro, then you probably don't need to do this. But they've got the basic. Let's have a look at the intermediate because the intermediate will just be that one step up from what the basic lessons are. In here, they've got 14 lessons as well. And this is their X Station 5 is their platform. I will show you that a bit later on because they've got some really cool tools in there. But the educational piece and the educational offers that they have here are really, really good. So make sure you have them. I want to show you the live webinars because they had one on the 22nd, which I believe was Tuesday this week. Really, really good. They have these regularly. And what they try to do is basically give you live market analysis. And again, that is really, really important because if you are trying to place trades, it's important for you to understand what's going on in the market specifically. Now, again, if you don't know the language and you're not familiar with the language, you need to familiarize yourself with the kind of language you're going to hear in these kind of webinars, but they are trying to help you along so that you can be successful as well. I'm going to show you their X Station 5. So this is where you would come essentially. You can have a look at, trading stocks. The markets are currently closed. I'm actually recording this at 3:30 in the morning. So the US and the UK markets aren't open right now, but these are the markets that you have access to at the moment. If I go on to the US market, they have a really cool tool in here, which is essentially a stock screener. So if you're trying to essentially whittle down maybe stocks that you want to research, that you can use the stock screener to help you whittle down to a select group of companies based on your criteria. You also have access to live news, which is also very, very important because you want up-to-date information. You want to be able to place trades and make decisions based on live data. Okay, so this is the stock screener. And what you can do here is you can essentially whittle down and create a short list of companies that you might want to be looking at, placing trades in based on geographical region. So I've chosen the US market here. You can use a sector. So I've chosen automobile, but you can also go a little bit further down. So you can have a look at market capitalization. You can have a look at earnings per share, PE ratio, dividend yield, return on equity. And what that will basically do is it will shortlist a number of companies. Now, for this list, you're going to see, companies that you know. So Tesla's in here, NIO's in here, Lucid, Workhorse. Now, when you click on to each of the companies, so this is Tesla, it's going to give you some really basic information, really. It tells you what the opening market hours, market opening hours essentially are. Then it's going to give you some really key facts, market capitalization, EPS. It's going to give you the return on equity. It's going to tell you, how leveraged the company is. So Tesla's still 43.23%, it's leveraged on debt, gives you PE ratios. Also going to give you performance as well. But what this will help you do is help you make some decisions when you're trying to figure out what's going on with a company in order for you to place your trades. Now, you can, and this is another thing that they do that which is really, really good. You can actually see here calendars. So obviously, because if you're looking to place trades with CFDs, news is really, really important. Things like quarterly returns, they're very, very important. So you can actually see what's going on any given day in terms of actual events. So here you can see home sales August. So you're going to get some numbers out. You've got the Federal Reserve Chairman, Jerome Powell, I should say. There's going to be a statement from him at 3:00 today. So these are all kind of events that you probably want to be paying attention to because they might impact the movement of stocks that you want to essentially place a trade on. Indeed, you might want to place a trade and pre-plan your trade because Jerome Powell is going to be speaking at 3:00 tomorrow. You've also got another tab in here for education. So again, you've got change your trading mindset. Again, mindset is going to be really, really important. There are 4 videos there. So there's a lot of resources that XTB are actually providing to help you be a better trader and become successful as a trader. Okay, so just a couple of final things to wrap up this video. If you do sign up, there will be a link in the comment section pinned below alongside the link for the guide. So don't forget to go and download that. They do give you a dedicated account manager. So when I signed up, I got a call from a lady called Carolina. Really, really nice. She was basically just trying to get to know why I signed up. She didn't know I was going to do this video, so it was great for me to see that side of their customer service. And she basically sent over links for me to go through. She told me about the webinar, the free webinar that they held earlier this week. I think it was on Tuesday, it was the 22nd. So she gave me a lot of information to start off with. And I think that's great because essentially they're trying to help you get your feet under the table, really, and provide you with education. They do have live educational events on a weekly basis with experts. So those are the live market analysis webinars that you could sign up to. That's on a regular basis. They're open 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. And one thing that they do also to support you is they actually have a WhatsApp group, which gives you the whole fundamentals and technical updates. So market commentary. It also gives you visual charting as well. I've shown you their trading platform, which is X Station 5. Within that, they also have a heat map. So because the markets are closed, because I'm shooting this at 3 o'clock in the morning, I couldn't show you this. But you could very easily take a snapshot of, say, the UK market or the American markets, and it will show you in a sea of either green or red. So if I looked at it, I think it was on Tuesday, everything was down. It was red all over the place. So with CFDs, that may be a good, well, it could be a good signal to basically short or long some of those stocks in there based on the research that you have done or might want to do as a result of that. You might have a few companies that you're keeping an eye on thinking, right, if it gets to this point, I might go in. So the heat map is really, really good as a visual representation to know at a snapshot what's going on generally with a market as well. Just to let you know, there are no minimum deposits with them. So you don't have to worry about, depositing 500 quid or, 100 quid as a minimum. There are no minimums. The minimum trade sizes, they do micro lots of 0.01. So again, that means that lower barrier to entry, essentially. They have minimum spreads of 0.35. And if you are using the stock commissions are 0.08%. I think that is pretty much it. My personal experience of actually using them, signing up. I mean, this partnership has been in the works now for 9 months. I first spoke to the rep there, I think it was either in January or it was in January this year. So it's taken us 9 months to get to this point. And for me to sign up and actually create an account with them, they were very, very thorough in terms of the ID that they took. And many people might think that's a little bit of a pain in the bum. But for me, it was actually quite comforting to know that actually they want to know who they're dealing with. And I think if that carries over into their management of your account and making sure that they have systems in place, I think that's necessary. That's actually a really, really good thing. It was annoying, to be honest, because I had to do a couple of things 2 or 3 times, but we got there in the end. But security is utmost when you're dealing with companies in the financial services sector. So there you go, guys. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section. If you have enjoyed it, make sure that you smash that like button. It will help other people who might be in your position trying to figure out whether it's CFDs or stocks that they want to do, or whether they want to do a combination of the two. If you smash the like button, they'll also get to see this video. If you have enjoyed it, also please share it with a friend if you think you have friends who are also in the same position as you. But as ever, I do appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget, there is the guide down in the comments for you to download for free. Go and do that, and the link to sign up to XTB is also pinned in the comment below. Make sure you have an amazing weekend. Remember, money is a tool, life is for living. Catch you later on.